Hi everyone, Morgan here. So I am making dinner, but I wanted to show you guys some of the pantry preps that I have that I use not every day, but a lot of the times, things that I generally have in the pantry. And then I prep that pantry stuff, like, extra stuff for that pantry stuff, so that I always have this stuff around. So let me show you real quick what I got. Well, so ignore the organization of my pantry. We're just still moving in. But I always have some box mac and cheese or just regular pasta, several different kinds of pasta. So pasta pretty much lasts forever. I always have some sort of, mashed potatoes, anything that can make mashed potatoes, the flakes, anything like that, the powdered potatoes. A variety of canned goods. You can never have too many of a variety of canned goods, whether you make them yourself or not. A variety of spices, black pepper, salt. This is where the rest of my spices are, but I will also have a hefty supply of baking soda, baking powder, honey. I also have a hefty supply of cinnamon and vanilla. Those things pretty much last forever. Some random things, baked good stuff. I have, this is mixed nuts. That's not a pantry item, but it's good. Coffee's always in the pantry items. Oil, any type of oil is always in the pantry items. Sugars, powdered sugar, regular sugar. I also have cocoa powder, which I use a lot for baking. I always have Emergencies ready to go. This is regular white sugar. I also have brown sugar. Xanthan gum I use sometimes. Powdered milk I will use occasionally. Rice. Rice, always have rice in the pantry. Flour, that's flour back there. And then of course, baking powder, like I said earlier. This is a powdered sugar shaker, which we just discovered recently, and it's changed our lives. Okay, so in addition to that, we always have popcorn available, and this is breadcrumbs. We always have breadcrumbs in our pantry as well. I will also have cornmeal, but in addition to cornmeal, I also store just straight corn and a grinder so that I can grind up the corn to make cornmeal, because corn will last longer than straight up cornmeal, but we use cornmeal a lot, so I keep it around. I also keep Nutella. There's a few Nutellas running around, but yeah, we keep a lot of Nutella around too for the children. Some of the canned goods that I keep around is going to be chicken stock, canned chicken stock. I use a lot of it, especially when I make rice. Peanut butter. I just used a peanut butter, so I'm going to take one of these out and get that going. Ramen. I always have some type of ramen in the pantry. So I'm using some spaghetti sauce for the meal today, but I always have several cans of it available. Oh boy, she decided to make a mess right now. Beans, but this reminds me, we also have lots of beans, canned beans and dry beans. Not just good for eating, but also good for toys. Yeah. Whoa, okay. I also have powdered buttermilk. I don't usually keep buttermilk on hand, so I usually just have powdered buttermilk. I also have cornstarch. This is cornstarch. I got a lot of cornstarch on hand. Use it for a variety of things. Some recipes have called for gelatin, so I keep some gelatin around. And then of course in general, just, Ziploc bags, tin foil, parchment paper. We also have paper and plastic cups, paper and plastic bowls, and stuff like that. But of course, paper products are certainly helpful, but of course we always have, just our regular silverware. We have straws, sponges, always have a few sponges available. You can also grow your own loofah if that's the route you want to go. So we have bouillon cubes, but we also have Better Than Bouillon. It's another type of bouillon, but the Better Than Bouillon has a little bit longer lasting shelf life than the bouillon cubes, but we have both. Here's the Better Than Bouillon, which we have. I also have ghee. I just keep it in the fridge. You do not have to actually keep it in the fridge. It's pretty much shelf stable. it says no refrigeration required, and it may liquefy at certain high temperature, conditions, but you don't have to. You can even can your own ghee. I also consider chocolate chips to be part of our pantry items. We use a lot of chocolate chips for cookies, or, making, putting in oats or whatever. We have a lot of chocolate chips. And then I always keep extra jam or jellies, but of course you can always can your own jam or jellies. Oh, she's getting pushed. And even though I don't use Crisco on the regular, I do store it as a fat option because unopened, I've had Crisco last 5 years completely unopened. So it's a good fat option. So I also store a lot of yeast, but I store yeast in my freezer. It'll actually last way longer in the freezer or even in the fridge than it will at room temperature. So I keep all my yeast in the freezer, and you can use yeast immediately from the freezer. It doesn't have to defrost or anything like that. So I keep all of my yeast in the freezer, and it just lasts longer. There you go. Oats. I also have a lot of oats. Apple cider vinegar, as well as just regular white vinegar, and cornbread mix, easy cornbread mix, sardines. In addition, I'll also keep like some sauces, like teriyaki sauce, or we like a mandarin teriyaki that we use a lot, soy sauce, stuff like that. May have sometimes shorter shelf lives, but we keep them around and we use them a lot. So we store them and keep them around for a little while. You can also get the little mini packets of that stuff, but those little mini packets really don't last that long. I had a little mini mayonnaise packet that I grabbed like 6 months after I had it, and it was all disgusting and gross inside when I opened it. So those don't tend to last as long as actually being packaged in like a bottle or something like that. So, and just as an aside, I like this. I got this little butter keeper, and I put butter in it. What you could do is you could rehydrate powdered butter, probably put it in here and use it like this. You could also make your own butter from powdered milk. I've done that in a video linked down below in the description, but and put it in here, and it could probably keep that butter for much longer. But this butter keeper is amazing. I love it. It's so cool. All right, well, that's pretty much it. Dinner's ready. I'm going to get this going. I just want to show you guys some of the stuff that I keep in my pantry-ish area in our cabinets, as well as those things that we stock up on, 1 or 2 at a time. It kind of depends on the food, how much we stock up on and for how long, depending on the shelf life, depending on how it's stored, like in a Mylar bag, if it can store in a Mylar bag for a long period of time, or like the cornmeal where I'll store corn and then, for longer purposes, and I'll grind that up later, or I'll keep cornmeal for everyday purposes. So just kind of stuff like that. If you are ever curious on how, what needs an oxygen absorber or what doesn't, and how to store certain dry foods, you can download my free downloadable at my website at Preparedness.com that gives you a chart of all that stuff. Link down below in the description. Thank you all so much for watching. Conquer tomorrow by preparing today. I'll talk to you later. Bye.